How you doing today? We're right back at you again at the KIANDKELSHOW. That's Key. This is Kale. And we're right back at you again with another topic. The topic tonight is where are our girls? Talking about the missing young ladies in Washington, D.C., our hometown. And you know we had to come with the special report talking about our daughters of the village. So without further ado, I'll give you my wife, Key.
Okay. Well, first I want to say that it's important that you know that although we took a break um, providing the Key and Kel show, that break has to do with exactly what we're going to talk about. And that's we don't just talk about uplifting the community, we also act in the community. And we've been hosting or holding a number of different things, which we'll talk about a little later. Um, but the topic of the show, uh, where are our girls, and what can we do to help prevent this? Um, we really need to get into the nitty gritty. So you know, let's do that.
Okay, we're going to give you some information tonight on sex trafficking. We're also going to give you our opinions on how it used to be when we were coming up as far as safety in the village. So you can go ahead, babe, and start with you.
Well, I need to explain to the listeners, watchers, that I'm in a certain place right now. Um, it's a little bit of anger. It's emotional. Um, so just try to bear with me as a mother. Um, it's really difficult to imagine someone um, having to go through what the parents of the individuals who are missing, what they're going through. So um, let me just make that disclaimer. But I I need to talk about again what's in the media, and it has been reported. It didn't just start happening. It has been reported several times, several cases. My husband expressed that with the girls that are going, the numbers rather that are going on right now in the media in Washington D.C. But unfortunately, this DC is not the only place that this is happening.
No, it's not.
We need to stop ignoring the issues. There have been several cases in the world of a multitude of different, topics, but the one that we're speaking on today, there have been several cases over a number of years, and we need to stop ignoring the fact that it's happening. Ignoring that it's happening is not going to wish it away. We have to act, do something. And we'd like to share with you all today of things that you possibly could do. Stop thinking that it's not my daughter or my son or someone that I truly care about, therefore it shouldn't be important to me. It should be important to you. Because just because you have not yet um, had the unfortunate circumstance of it being someone that you love, by ignoring it could help the epidemic to spread, and then eventually it will be someone you know and love. So we have to stop doing those things first. Understand that it is an epidemic. If you're not sure what that word means, that means it's just going to continue to spread. It has become so huge that it's not controllable just by fixing a minute thing. So you have to understand that. And then before I go into any, further details, I'm going to ask my husband to share some things that he has.
Well, coming up in what many consider the projects, the when we used to be outside playing, and I'm talking about young kids, 7, 8. I can remember, parents outside. I'm talking about 5 parents outside playing cards or socializing, but at the same time they out there watching the kids. So fast forward 2017, just being a parent, my kids are grown. My kids are grown. Uh, they have a grandson, but just observing and seeing the kids outside, young kids outside, unsupervised, uh, for days. You look at them in the summertime; they outside every day, all day unsupervised. And this things I've seen, while my kids were little coming up, what is my childhood and today. So that's damn near 30 years of observing this tendency, and it needs to be addressed because that's the main reason. Unsupervised kids getting taken, it doesn't make any sense. How can we, sleep at night knowing that our kids are missing out here? It doesn't make any sense, man. And for me, where the men at? Where the dude? It's no way one of my kids is missing. It's the end of my life, pretty much. Because until I find out what's really going on with my child, man, there's gonna be some problems out here, man. And I don't know what's going on. We can brag on being a murder cap and trapping and all this other stuff, man. But when it comes down to these babies, man, these somebody babies, man, and we need to step our game up. Excuse, my emotion, but this is what y'all gonna get tonight. This is my birthplace, but it's happening all over the country, and these are someone's kids. It could be one of your relatives out there. And if it is, we want to send our, shout out to y'all, man, and whatever we can do to help in any type of way, you can hit us on the email, man, and we can do what we do. We up top, and we can do what we can do. But I'm gonna give it back to my wife. I just had to get that off me.
Understandable. Um, so I want to share with you one of the reasons, when we ask what can we do to help prevent this is be empowered with knowledge. One of the reasons, more than likely, that the record number of young females um, are missing is because of, again, an epidemic. It's called human trafficking. Human trafficking is defined as the modern day slavery with illegal smuggling and trading of people for forced labor or sexual exploitation. Okay? Again, modern day slavery. Now, in the definition, it talks about labor, forced labor, or sexual exploitation. You have to know that the highest percentage of those individuals are female,
Okay.
women and young girls, right? And you also have to understand that it's not just labor or sex or exploitation. However, sexual exploitation is the highest also in the percentages, but it is also the organ, um, the theft of people's organs and those being sold in different um, arenas. Now, if I went into the statistics worldwide, there are 600,000 to 800,000 men, women, and children trafficked across international borders each year, right? That's every 365 days, there are between 600,000 to 800,000 people trafficked across international borders. Now that's worldwide. Just in the US alone, 14,500 to 17,500 are trafficked annually. That is alarming in itself. And again, about 80% of those individuals are females. Females. And if the organ industry out here doing illegal things are focusing on placentas, or they're focusing on stem cells and different things like that, then the main targets are going to be young females who are at their prime time of having a menstrual, okay, who can become pregnant and they can utilize the things that I just expressed. In addition to sex trafficking or sex exploitation, in addition to the other of labor, forced labor.
All right, let me interject right here. All right. It's a word that she just said that resonates in my soul right now, and that's slavery. Now, when we were quote unquote freed in 1865, there was a condition of us being free. If we were convicted of a crime, you were in turn a slave to the government. And we had to show some episodes back where it's a from high school to jail pipeline. So, that's one form of slavery. And then you talk about sex trafficking with the females and some males. And that's a form of slavery as well. So, and the slave narrative has never been dismissed, from our society or way of living. It's always been here. The 12 years a slave, Django, and everything else, that narrative has always been here. Make America great again, So we really gotta, educate ourselves, man, for us, African American, Latinos, Native Americans, man. You have to research your history, man, and understand your place in it, man. And then you can have a better grasp in raising your kids out here, man, because this slavery thing is real, man. It's real. And they trying to put your sons and daughters back into slavery, and you don't understand that you helping them to do it. Go ahead, Jim.
So, helping them to do it, that's a really deep statement, because if you are not being conscious in terms of what your children are doing, if you're not being conscious of, it's 7 o'clock in the morning, still dark outside, and you go to work, but your child goes to school walking by themselves. If you're out at a place, a mall, and you send your child to the restroom unsupervised, if you are, if your standard of, we're not here to judge.
No,
that's not our role. However, I am going to spit some wisdom on being a parent. And did I get everything right? No. Are there things that I, certainly could have done differently? Of course. Are there things I'm still learning as a parent? Yes, even though mines are grown. Now I'm learning as a parent with grown children. So the one thing though that I do recall making sure of was supervision in some type of way for my children, not allowing them to go places by themselves, being mindful of the circumstances within the community. I think that's a huge aspect. Again, we started off with stop ignoring that these things are going on because it could impact you. And the way you stop ignoring is by putting in place things that can protect your family. You can't do that if you don't know that these things are going on in society. If you don't know that being repetitious in a community could be subjecting yourself to harm. If your routine is the same every day, as a parent, you leave out of your house, or parents, you leave out of your house at the same time every day, and your kids are left wide open with no supervision, that could be causing someone to look at that and want to prey on that. The same in going to school, like we talked about, walking and, would it harm anyone to have a carpool for their child? Yeah, I know that the hours of operations for schools can be ridiculous. I see young people standing right. My husband and I were talking about this the other day. I see young people right here standing in front of our household. Their bus picks them up at 7 o'clock in the morning. It's still dark outside, but it's just young people going to middle school. There is nobody out there, not one parent out there making sure that their child gets on that school bus.
All right, let me jump in here. Now, what's going on in your house, man? What's going on in your house? What? First of all, for the most part, how we living out here, we don't need nobody. We could do it all by ourselves. You know, that for me, I'm gonna keep it 100. This is my second marriage, and my kids are grown. But in my first marriage, for the people who know me, they know when my kids were younger, I worked at Old Country Buffet in Forestville, Maryland. Those people around the creek know where it's at. And I used to walk. I used to get off at 2 o'clock. I made sure I used to work sometimes 6 to 2, sometimes 8 to 2. Got off at 2. I don't give a fuck what was going on. 2 o'clock, I'm out of there. Why? My youngest get out of school at 2:20. Whether I was driving or walking, when they came out, I was dead. Every day, rain, sleet, or snow. Because that's my fucking job as a parent, is to protect my kids, man. And I don't know what's going on out here, man. We worried about likes on fucking Instagram and Facebook and all this other stuff that's going on, man. And you can't even get along, man. You can't get along with your baby father. You can't get along with your baby mother. You gotta put that bullshit aside, man. And y'all gotta work together to raise your kid, man. But this service out here, it's no excuse for all these kids to be missing. I still feel a certain type of way about Felicia Rudd. And if Young is still alive, you know, I hope there's a way you can get home. But if you off this earth, rest in peace, man. And that's the whole thing about this missing thing, man. You don't have no closure, man, until you get something. How the fuck can you sleep at night without no closure? And I don't even understand why there ain't no uproar, especially from the people that was the 69 and the 70 babies. I don't even understand why there ain't no uproar, man. And it just shows you the ill effects of the crack epidemic, man. Because this sex trafficking, man, pimping real hard in DC. It's been ever since I've been here on this earth, 14th Street. And for the you know, the homosexuals, they used to be on 13th Street. You know, pimping been around since the days of the quote unquote Bible and Quran. You know, and it's a shame that we don't even get to meet. Did you meet your daughter's boyfriend? Do you know who it is? Do you know what they're about? You know what their intentions are? Or is it, he come through, buy you a pack of cigarettes, something to drink, and he can take your daughter anywhere. I used to be young. So I already know how some of y'all mothers get down. You know, I know some of y'all fathers ain't up to par neither. So it ain't just about the women. It's about the village. And we need to tighten up, man. There's no excuse for our kids to be missing like this, man. And they somebody kids, man. What y'all doing out here, man?
So in terms of, what we have been doing, on March 6th, we had a human trafficking event. Now, I'm it for us, I could speak for my husband because, this we try to do a lot of things together. But for us, it is real, and we're on Facebook because yeah, we want to keep in contact with our family members and different people that we love. We don't always have the time to pick up the phone and things like that. But the other aspect of that is bringing about awareness to different things. Now, if on Facebook, if somebody got some drama going on, then you can scroll down that post or your timeline, and you can see a whole bunch of comments and a whole bunch of likes and this, that, and the third. But when somebody's putting something out there positive or educational, you don't see a whole lot of that. Now, although there was a decent number of individuals that came to that event, it still should have filled that entire room. That space could have held 300 people. It should have filled that room with the amount of individuals that we have in this particular community. Now, we started talking about Washington, D.C., but as I expressed, it's happening everywhere.
What's the capital?
Right here in the state of Ohio. Matter of fact, right here in the city that we live in, there has been individuals who have been arrested, thankfully, but there have been cases where individuals have been trafficked in some type of way. You got people going through young ladies' windows and grabbing them.
Let me see. It's that easy? It's that easy? You sleep that hard, right? You got fucking Chihuahua or a fucking Yorkie in the house, you know. What is that gonna do if somebody in your house, man? And that's a whole nother convo because that's somebody else's behavior. That's somebody else used to have them Yorkies before y'all wanted the Yorkies. Used to have some other type of dogs, like what we got up in here, a pit bull. All pit bulls ain't bad. It's all on the owner. That's another topic. You dig? There's no way that a person should be able to climb into your house and not meet their maker. Simple and plain.
So we need to get our priorities back to where they should be. And if you have children, first of all, let's go back to oneself. Because even though the numbers are higher in that age range, you as an adult can also be a victim of this. So you need to be empowered with the knowledge, you know, um, get back to, you know, investigating. Use Google for what it was created for, and that is to research, research whatever it is, research your history, research the circumstances in your community. Research ways in which you can uplift your community to see what's going on out there, people who are doing things to try to betterment, or for the betterment of the community. Look into those things. Also, in regards to the human trafficking, Google Polaris Project. I'm gonna give you some tools that you can go. It'll provide you some statistics for right there in your particular city. Okay. Also, Google Homeland Security, the Blue Campaign, so you can see what it is out here that is different ways that you can in your particular city or state, that there are awareness trainings. You can sign up for one of those. I personally, like I just explained a little bit before, I personally had a young lady who is certified in providing that training, and she provided this to a group of like 50 some odd individuals. Okay. But we need more. So you need to know that there's things out there to help in this particular instance, but get back to your priorities. And your priority is first your safety and your well-being. And certainly if you are a parent, then you sacrifice for the safety and the well-being of your children.
And we have numbers. You can see the National Human Trafficking Resource Center. The number is 1-888-373-7888. One more time. 1-888-373-7888, or text BBEFREE, be free, at 233733. So you got text be free or the numbers 233733.
Yes. And by doing so, what my husband is sharing with you, this hotline or this resource center, it can provide you the different things out there for you to become more aware of your surroundings and things to look for. But if you see anything that is suspicious, call it anyway.
And what's suspicious? Say we travel a lot on the road, so we stop at rest stops, and we hit the road all hours of the day and night. So say for instance you at a rest stop and you see a U-Haul or 18-wheeler pull up and they letting girls out or boys out from the back and letting them go on the rest stop to use the bathroom. That's when you want to call the number, or the police. If you see a U-Haul pull up and people getting out the back, 15 passenger and people getting like shuffled in and shuffled out, you notice that and you get a police a call.
There are other things. There are other, it could be, in huge numbers like that, or it could be, one person. There are different aspects.
Different avenues.
Someone who is truly, just submissive and doesn't want to provide eye contact to you, and is accompanied by probably more than one individual. Um, those are red flags. And, I don't want to get into a whole lot of details in regards to that, because I truly believe that people that are studying and trained on these topics, you should get that information, directly from them so that you can become aware. But, we do want to provide you the fact that again, there is an epidemic. We need to stop ignoring it. We need to get back to our priorities. Priority is not going to the club. No disrespect to anybody. I told you, I forewarned you, I'm hot about this topic because these are young ladies who did not ask for this. You understand me? These are young men that did not ask for this, right? So, I can't even imagine being put in bondage. You understand me? And being given some type of drug that you become hooked on. And then you are then forced to to give of yourself. And then if you're taken at a young age and you stay in this crap for years to come, you know, what is the likelihood of you getting out? And this is all that you know that life is.
Yeah.
And it could have been prevented had somebody had some type of supervision over their children. That pisses me off. And then to those who are out here and they're trying to do everything that they possibly can, and they still somehow their families still become a victim of this. That's saying that the community is not coming together like they should. It's saying to me that we don't have a village anymore, and we need one. We need it everywhere, in DC, in Ohio, in Florida, wherever. There is a main hub right here in the state of Ohio.
In Toledo.
In Toledo, Ohio, less than a couple of hours away from here. There's a main hub here.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
I don't know why the state of Ohio is not rallying together to put some type of end to this. Everybody.
Let's keep it 100. You know why? Because if it was a lot of a certain type of people, it would be annihilated. But because it's a mixture of different races, collateral damage. But I'm gonna tell you like this, from my observation, when your kids going to school, a lot of them in their phones. And if you're on your phone, not holding your phone, talking, so you can look around, see what's going on. You're like this, walking. And how can you see what's going on if you're down in your phone like this? Right? I see this. I could be outside doing yard work, walking the dogs, and I see a lot of your kids in their phone on their way to school or from school. But how do you know what's going on around you if you're in that phone? Did you walk to school or home or pick your kids up from school? Or if you don't, do you have somebody that do? No matter how old they are. Are they walking alone in the early morning or late at night? My wife referenced earlier how, kids at the bus stop at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, it's still dark. But not one parent is out there. I know the kids don't want the parent out there with them because it's not cool. But you can stand across the street. You can just sit in the car with your eye on. But we got to reevaluate what we're doing and what's real out
here. And then, I often hear people saying, Facebook is just social media. It's not that serious. Then why are you on it? If it's not a tool that could be used to help to empower and uplift, why are you on it? Why are you wasting your time on it if it's just social media? Let's change that. I beg of you today that if that is your mindset, then let's change that. Because we might be able to help some of these unfortunate circumstances that are going on out here. I myself, unfortunately got a suicide letter from one of my own children on social media. Had social media, Facebook, had not been there, who knows what could have happened.
Yeah, and the thing about it, as soon as we got it, we formed like Voltron. It was right there.
And you have to. But what I'm expressing to you is stop looking at it as a minute thing. It could be huge if it's allowed to be. Stop being on there and just being open or trying to be about the drama. Let's try to bring about some things that are going to, create a village, that are going to bring people together, create some form